This is Shauna, Heart to Heart Horsemanship. Polka and I are going to demonstrate a little technique that I like to refer to as freeze frame. I guess it's kind of self-explanatory in a way. It's something we want the movement to stop. We want time to be frozen for a moment. So freeze frame. In general, again, is when movement stops. It freezes. There's a moment. You can have a small moment or you can have a longer moment. Small moments that I'm talking about. These are just going to be some examples for you to think about. Everybody's tried to put a bridle on a horse and had them trying to avoid the avoidance maneuver. I can be taller than you. This little gal's going to have a hard time with that one because she is a little bit on the height challenged side. But I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We've had them try to avoid getting that bridle on. Freeze frame is something that you're going to teach them, a place that you can put them and let them know that that's where you want them to be. So for instance, with the bridling, you're going to have a neutral position here. Right in there would be beautiful to have her hold herself, to be in freeze frame right here for me to go ahead and bridle. So when I'm teaching that, I want to give a definite direction. I want to give a cue. I want to give her a place. And then I want to tell her, that's right where I need you. Now, the way that she's going to learn is by leaving that place. And when she leaves that place with her head, when she goes lower, when she goes higher, when she goes to the side, I'm going to come in, I'm going to gently but efficiently, I'm not going to beg this face to come over here. I'm going to come in, I'm going to reach in and tell her, no, this is where I needed you to be. This is where I needed you to be. Release, let her know that was good. Go on to what I was doing. So when she moves again, I need to bring her as quickly as possible down to where I was at in the first place, the original freeze frame. A little bit higher here. I think we were right about there. And go ahead and start my procedure again. Now that's just an example for bridling. The same thing would go for saddling. The same thing would go for brushing, grooming, picking up feet, anything like that, where you need your horse to keep still. You need all 4 feet to be still. You need a certain head position and for it to hold. You need it to hold for a little while. So, yeah, freeze frame, out of frame. Go on. So that's where we're going with the freeze frame idea. Now, that is pretty basic for your grooming or for your tacking up. The way that you can carry it on and actually do it as a task, you're going to ask for some movement. You've already got an idea, right? Because we like to have an idea before we get with our horse, before we start a task. We want to know what we're going to do so we can see if we're actually even taking it, we're doing it. We're actually taking the steps to get it done. So before I even moved her, I forgot to tell you that I had a plan. I always have a plan. I really try to think it out before I involve my horse in it, so the communication is as clear as possible. I wanted to move her feet. I wanted to move her feet over to a specific spot, a neutral area. And then I wanted to let her know that that was her spot and that that's where I want her to be. And I want her to be there until I tell her, let's go somewhere else. So if you think about it in the long term, ground tying, it's the same exact concept. You want to be able to say, keep your feet right there, wait there for me, good girl, I'm going to go do something. I want you to be there when I come back. So it's the beginnings of ground tie, but it's also more detailed than that when you need to have a specific position as far as saddling or bridling, haltering, whatever you want to do. So the task to do is to move the feet, to take control of those feet. Tell her, hey, move those feet. Move them a little faster. And then I've got my spot picked out. There's a little stick on the ground over there. I'm going to drive her to that little stick here. Put her as close to it as I can in the direction I want, facing you guys. And then I'm going to let her rest there. Very specific. What's going on right now is she's wanting to kind of face me more than to face you. But that's the position I picked for her. So I just need to calmly re-correct her, let her know I want that nose over that direction. Good. Very good. Good girl, Polka. Very good girl. Energy comes off of her, comes down. I don't care if you have to look at the ground, cock your hip. Your energy comes completely down and away from her. So she knows that that is her safe spot, that that is her freeze frame moment. We just made it more than a moment. I'd like for her to stay there for a minute. So this is kind of a game of patience, and nothing has taught me more patience in my life than my horses. So don't get frustrated. Take it slow, take it easy. Expect that you're going to have to correct and help her know where you want this freeze frame position to be. They cannot read our minds. They're pretty good, they're pretty close to doing it, but they cannot literally read our minds. So we have to help them with these situations. So when I like to start this freeze frame, I like to pick a certain spot. So I will take a certain spot, tell her this is yours, this is where you get to relax. I'm going to carry on a conversation. I'm going to paint my nails. I'm going to do whatever I need to do over here while you stay in your freeze frame. You can then come to her, tell her, okay, now we're ready to leave. I want to leave freeze frame. Get out of here. Let's go do something else. My idea when I left was to come out here, do a couple circles. I'd like the trot. When I get her close to her spot again, I'm going to push her hind quarter away, do a little back up. Figure out how to strategically place her body. And gosh darn near the same exact spot that she was in. This is her freeze frame spot over here. This is her time to be able to just hang out and be by herself and just not have any pressure given to her. When she does decide to change her position a little bit, I'll just reach in and change it back. Good girl. Very good girl. That's very good. So she gets to know that when I put her someplace and my energy leaves, that's her cue to, oh, this is my spot. I'm going to be staying here until Shauna comes back for me. You can add on to this. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Very good. You can add on to this, you can do more and more ground school, you can go do your obstacles, you can go do quite a few different little things and come back to the same spot and let her rest. And she starts looking for that spot. Well, then you don't always want her to look for that specific spot, because what if we are somewhere else? We don't have this little spot of land for her to be standing on. Then we want to be able to expand. I want to take that spot and move it. take it to another spot. Do a little bit of ground school. Have that idea in my head. Take her to that spot. Place her in freeze frame. Let her relax. Then I want to be able to do higher intensity groundwork. I want to be able to do this while I'm riding. It's the same thing. You've seen the horses. I've had the horses that they don't like to stand in one spot. You're standing there trying to wait for your class to go in, or you're standing there trying to wait for your friend to get ready to go on the trail, and your horse is dancing all over the place, and you can't keep their feet still. This is what you need to help you with that situation. You teach them freeze frame, and you start it at the ground level, and you teach them that when they keep their feet still where you've wanted them to, that's all you want in the world from them right now, and then that's good. It's part of your relaxation technique, but it means a whole lot more. It means I need you to keep still. Whether it's you've picked their head to keep still to bridle, or their whole body to keep still to ground tie. It doesn't matter. The whole concept is keep whatever I need still right now until I ask you for something else. So it turns into a big concept in your horsemanship to help you through with everything. I think that pretty much kind of gives it to you in a nutshell, and that's a pretty good explanation. And again, this is Shauna, Heart to Heart Horsemanship. This is information coming from my heart to you. Have a good time with it.